As you might know, there are many realms of the Shadowlands that we cannot access. At the moment, 4 are available, but just the city of Oribos has 8 flight paths that we should be able to see. There are hints for some, such as the realm of the Thros, as well as the realm for the geniuses across the universe, and we know that various cosmological forces, such as the Titans, have their own afterlives. So what are some potential Shadowlands realms that we'll be able to see in the future? We are still using giant, bulky, and unpractical wallets. Luckily, the sponsor of this video, the Ridge wallet, is offering an excellent alternative. Light, sleek, industrial, and simple in an aesthetic way, it can save you a lot of space in your pocket. Ridge wallet can hold up to 12 cards as well as cash, and it comes in over 30 colors and styles, including carbon fiber and burnt titanium. The team is so confident that they're offering a lifetime warranty and a test drive for 45 days, meaning if you don't absolutely love it, you can send it back. If you go to ridge.com/Doron, you can get 10% off as well as free worldwide shipping. Check out the link in the description below. To properly understand the Shadowlands and how it works, it is important to consider, once again, the fabled cosmology chart. That realm is just one part of the chart, and at the moment it is so confusing. We know that the Shadowlands is the current afterlife for mortals, but it does seem like other beings in the universe have their own afterlives that are more than likely not even connected to the Shadowlands. For example, it was confirmed that the Titans have their own afterlife, which is about as much as we know about it currently, and it was hinted that the Light and the Void also have their own versions. So with this information, it seems like the mortals are bound to the Shadowlands, which may actually not be the natural state of things, but could be an artificial construct imposed upon death. At the moment, aside from Oribos, which is the center, the main city, we can access 4 very specific realms. They seem like the main realms, honestly, and all of them serve a purpose in order to keep the jailer imprisoned within the mob. Each of these realms are ruled by an eternal one. However, Blizzard confirmed that many other realms also exist that we are not able to see or even access. Whether these other realms are also ruled by Eternal Ones, we can't tell at the moment, but with the current information, it seems like there are only a few of these Titan beings around in the Shadowlands, as they're called the Dead Pantheon. One of the main hints towards other realms is the fact that when you go to Oribos, you can see that there are other flight paths that are not available at the moment. Some say this is just the aesthetic aspect of the city, but I think it is a big possibility that more realms could be added in patches, and I think it is highly likely that we're going to do that and we're gonna go to one of these places. Because what else are we gonna do? Just continue to explore the same 4 zones again and again? Now, some realms have been hinted, but all the evidence at the moment is quite weak, so no speculation is really standing on very firm ground. The strongest evidence for a realm that we have is Thros, the realm of the Dust. You might have noticed these guys when you've been leveling, as they have been invading from Thros into Ardenweald and are trying to essentially take over. Long story short, there is all this lore from Battle for Azeroth. The Dust were Vikel that battled the Cold Tyrants. As they dabbled into dark powers, they tapped into an offshoot of the Emerald Nightmare, which they named Thros. Now, this bit of lore is just incredibly confusing, to say the least, as it isn't 100% certain whether this realm is actually a part of the Shadowlands. However, as Blizzard confirmed that the Emerald Dream and the Ardenweald are connected, with the logic that one is winter and the other one is spring, it is highly likely that Thros is tied into this. The Dust want the power of Ardenweald to free themselves from Thros. As I said, this is one of the realms with the most evidence, and the only counter-argument, like the realistic counter-argument against this, is I don't really know how interesting the Dust really are, as they would be content for the entire patch. To me, they mainly seem like a side quest, not really something to put a focus on of the entire expansion for a single patch for like 6 months. But seeing that Blizzard had a patch for robot gnomes, I wouldn't really completely dismiss this. Now, another Azeroth-related realm could be Hellheim, or some other version of it. We know that Helia had her own death realm within Azeroth, and now that she ascended to work directly with the jailer, it is likely that she was granted a domain of her own, and you can also see the quality within Torcast. Not much is really known about this at the moment. We've only seen a small appearance from Helia, but I think this is highly likely to be a patch, as Helia is one of the most important weapons of the jailer, so this this could be a step in breaking his chain of command in order to finally face the jailer, which could honestly warrant an entire patch. Now, one of the more interesting and the realm we have zero information about right now is the homeland of the brokers. We know that they reside somewhere within the Shadowlands, and they do seem like a crucial race of the new expansion, despite sort of having a minor role. Seriously, these brokers are everywhere, working with Bonsamdi, working with Anatrius. They help us infiltrate the Maw and Torcast. Additionally, they know the location of the Sepulchre, which seems like the key of the entire expansion, so I feel like their homeland could definitely be a very interesting patch. From this current point, it is hard to say whether there will be good or bad guys, but I feel like we might work with one of the cartels while fighting the others that might side with the jailer. At the moment, it is just hard to speculate about this, but I think this realm is the most likely one despite having like zero evidence. Lastly, one of the realms that was sort of confirmed or hinted with a Sandstone is a realm called Craftenium, which apparently exists somewhere within the Shadowlands. Allegedly, it is the realm for the greatest minds of the universe, and there was one character known as Arcanos, the mad designer, that was destined for Craftenium. He was a genius and was incredibly intelligent and manipulated the less intelligent beings, but due to his arrogance with a smile that he had while he was doing this, he was sent to Revendred in order to atone for his sins. Aside from this little Sinstone we know next to nothing, but this could definitely be an interesting sort of a side story patch. It could be the realm for the inventors, the engineers, as well as possibly researchers and scholars such as those of Delran, Antonidas, and the like. Now, these are just some of the realms that have been hinted to exist. People speculate a lot of others, although there is no evidence so far that we know of. I think future realms you might be able to see would be other death realms of the cosmological chart. It seems like other forces have their own afterlives. For example, we know demons have their own afterlife. We've seen it, or at least parts of it. It was confirmed that the Titans have their own afterlife, which could just be an entire expansion in itself. The Light and the Void also seem to have their own afterlives, which I believe is the most likely realms that we will see, if not in the Shadowlands, then in future expansions, as it does seem like these two opposing forces, especially the Void, are going to be the crucial factors in the future. So far, it looks like none of these are actually tied to the Shadowlands and could be separate entities of their own. Due to the absolute lack of information about this, it is incredibly hard to even speculate, as there is literally no base to stand on, but I think this will be the future of the Shadowlands as an expansion, as well as upcoming content for the far future. Thank you for watching. Check out whether Oribos is supposed to be a raid by clicking on the screen, and also check out Doronsmovies Academy for videos on real world history and science. See you next time.